Picture this, Western Australia, 1932. The Great Depression has its grip on the world, and Australia is feeling the squeeze. Farmers, already struggling, find themselves facing a new feathered foe, the emu. These weren't your average birds, mind you. These were 6-foot-tall, flightless behemoths with powerful legs and a knack for gobbling up crops. The problem wasn't just a few rogue emus, it was a full-blown invasion. An estimated 20,000 of them descended upon the wheat belt, wreaking havoc on farms and gobbling up precious crops. The farmers, desperate to salvage their livelihoods, appealed to the government for help. Little did they know, their plea would lead to one of the most bizarre military campaigns in history. Now, emus, despite their size and somewhat intimidating appearance, are generally docile creatures, but push them too far, take away their food and habitat, and they can become quite the adversary. And push them, the farmers did. See, the emus had developed a taste for wheat, and they weren't shy about helping themselves to the farmers' hard-earned harvests. They trampled fences, devoured crops, and generally made a nuisance of themselves. The farmers tried everything to deter them. They built fences which the emus simply stepped over, they shooed them away, which the emus ignored. They even tried herding them, which, let's just say, didn't go as planned. It was a losing battle, and the farmers were at their wits' end. The Australian government, keen to show their support for the struggling farmers, and perhaps a tad eager for some good press, decided to call in the big guns, literally. A contingent of soldiers from the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery was dispatched to the wheat belt, armed with Lewis machine guns, and a mission to cull the emu population. The stage was set for a showdown of epic proportions, man versus bird, technology versus nature. The soldiers, confident in their superior firepower, set out to teach the emus a lesson. They quickly learned, however, that emus are not your typical enemy combatants. Section 4, Emu Guerrilla Warfare, Dodging Bullets and Outwitting Soldiers. The first sign that this wasn't going to be a conventional war came when the soldiers attempted to engage a large flock of emus. They opened fire, expecting a swift and decisive victory. What they got instead was a chaotic, almost comical scene as the emus scattered in all directions, their feathers flying, seemingly impervious to the hail of bullets. The emus, it turned out, were masters of guerrilla warfare. They were too fast, too unpredictable, and their feathers seemed to absorb the impact of the bullets. The soldiers, trained for traditional warfare, were utterly unprepared for this kind of feathered foe. They tried chasing after them in trucks, but the emus simply outran them. They tried ambushing them, but the emus always seemed to know where they were hiding. Section 5. A humiliating defeat. The emus claim victory. After weeks of embarrassing engagements and mounting casualties, on the side of the wheat that is, the Australian government decided to call off the war. The soldiers, defeated and demoralised, retreated, leaving the emus to their victory. The Great Emu War, as it came to be known, was a resounding victory for the birds. The emus had successfully defended their territory and their right to graze where they pleased. The farmers, meanwhile, were left to pick up the pieces, their crops still ravaged. Their faith in the government's ability to handle a flock of flightless birds, well, let's just say it was shaken. Section 6, Legacy of the Emu War, a feather in Australia's cap. The Great Emu War may have been a military disaster, but it became a legendary tale of the absurdity of war and the resilience of nature. It's a story that's told and retold in pubs and around campfires, a reminder that even the mightiest armies can be brought down by a bunch of feisty birds. Today, the Great Emu War is a source of national pride, a reminder that Australians don't take themselves too seriously and that they have a healthy respect for the creatures they share their vast and often unpredictable land with. And as for the emus, they continue to roam free. A feathery testament to the fact that sometimes nature just wins.